Hi everybody, we're going to replace a valve cover gasket today for a BMW E46 or E36 and even a BMW Z3. This model is in BMW Z3. This can also be useful for other BMW since it's a bit of the same. So first off, we're going to pop up these plastic caps so we can unscrew the bolts within. So this is to pull out the plastic cover of the engine bay. So these are 4 bolts. And what I do is I just unscrew them a little bit so it comes off nice. Maybe if it's an old car, you just don't want to damage anything. You just really want to be careful, especially if it's not your car or if you're in a time rush. So what I use is a magnetic tool. So I just grab the bolts, and for now this is not very important, but when the plastic caps come off it is important. So next up we pull out the oil cap and we just can remove the plastic covers. So about the magnetic tool, you really want to use this because since you don't want to leave anything in the engine, this can be very dangerous. However, it's going to probably go into the oil basin, so don't panic too much if something falls in. But yeah, you don't really want to have something in your engine bay. So be careful and use a magnetic tool. So next up, we're going to pop up the electrics for the ignition. So these are 6, since this is a 6-cylinder. And you just pull them out gently towards yourself. So they come off fairly easy, just be careful. Also, I unscrewed the plastic what's above my hands now, so to have a little bit more space. I didn't remove it all because it takes a lot of time, and you can still work fairly easily with that plastic on the left still there. So now you want to release the ignitions. Well, you can see that this screw is right below the ignition and the other one is just on the left upper side of the ignition module. So then after this, we're going to pull out some screws which are tinier. There are cables attached to the ignition module, so you also want to unscrew this one. And with everything, bear in mind that everything has to be on the same place again. So the ignition modules have to be on the same place, and also the cables attached to it. So this is all pretty straightforward. This part you can see it's a little bit more trickier. Just be careful that nothing falls between the motor and the engine bay. Can fall on the ground, but also it can get stuck somewhere, so you don't want to lose time on that. So now we're going to unscrew the little cable there, which you can see in my right hand. And when this comes off, there are two sides. And you have a flat side and you have a little sort of a hook side. I'm going to show you, but that has to be on the ignition side, the little hook side. So use the magnetic tool again, it's quite handy, just to be careful. And then you can see the little hook, that has to be there. And then you have the straight part that has to be on the upper side. So now we're going to take the ignition modules out, be very careful. Just check them if nothing is broken. It can be a little bit white on the tops. You don't necessarily have to clean this. I didn't because it was quite clean. Maybe you can do a little bit, but it's not really necessary. You see, it's a little bit white, but that's okay. So make sure it's in the right position. So I place them in the right position. So I know it has to go in this position back when I screw them all in again. This is very important because otherwise if you mix them up, something or some issues can occur and you have to open everything again. So that takes a lot of time. So you don't want to do that, and most of the time you don't know which one is what anymore. So if they're mixed, it's you're in troubles. So now we're going to unscrew this one, the gasket. But first, if we did this, I just make them a little bit loose. We still have to take the electric part away. So also please bear in mind, if you unscrew the valve covered gasket, just be gentle. You can open them at any place you like, but if you close it again, you really have to do it on the manner of crossing. So you have to cross bolt them. So the the neutrons will divide easily. So otherwise you will break the bolts. That happens a lot. So please be careful and don't screw one bolt just right in when you place back the cover gasket. So this is a tricky one. Use the magnetic tool. So this is also a little cable. You see also with the hook down and the straight one, it goes up. So then you need to release the cable there, red one. You just want to make sure that everything is comes off. And again, use the magnetic tool because the engine bay is open right now, or the engine. So if something falls in, you're a bit in troubles. You don't want that. So now we're going to pop out these electrical units. They come fairly easy, you just pop them out. And then the air intake, you also want to press it and then pull it away from you. Be careful, because when these things are old, it can break off. So you want to make place to unscrew the bolts of the valve covered gasket. So it's right there, it's one. It's a little bit tricky to see if you're in the, just in front of the engine bay, so you have to really sort of know this, but now you know. So now I'm opening the valve cover a bit, not too much. Just want to see if everything is all right. You know, you don't, if something breaks off or something, you're in problems, so you better want to leave it open or closed. I mean, you don't want to have it open. So there's also one in the middle. And there, and there, and there, and there. Sorry for this. So now you want to get rid of the electrical module. They're stuck with little clips. So take your flat screwdriver, just go gently between the module and the clips. So again, you really have to know this, otherwise you break things off. Just be gentle, then it just pops off. So it's quite easy, but you just have to know how to do this. But again, now you know. Be gentle. You can get some duct tape or something and then put it on the side for a while. I'll just, I didn't do this, but this is stuck. So the rubber. You don't really need to take this off. Just put it aside so you have free space. So, and now I'm going to be very gentle with my flat screwdriver. You don't want to mess things up. Normally, maybe you don't even want to do this, but you can cheat a little bit with a flat screwdriver, but please be very careful because the metal, it's very soft. And then I am between the rubber and the plastic, so I'm not touching the metal. It can cause leakages, so be very careful. So this can be a tricky part, but it has to come off quite easily. So you just want to make a little bit room on the sides. So on that side you pull, and then it comes off quite easily, and then you also pull there. Just be careful that things don't fall in, like the plastics. It will melt, but again, it's not really good to have that in your engine. So there you go. It's out now. So I'm going to show you that this rubber, it's very hard now. It really needs to be replaced. It comes off, you see, it's very hard. And yeah, it's not a good one anymore. This one was really leaking. So this is the new one, and what you can see, it's super soft. So you really want to replace that one. So in the next episode, I'm going to show you how to put it in, how to put the rubber onto the cover.